Hello and welcome to Discipline Between Carrot and Stick. I am your host Dawood Waeed from Sky Education. Actually, it's very interesting that we've come a long way in the 8th session of our discipline series. As they say, it's always the beginning that's difficult and then it becomes easy. I was having a lot of apprehensions doing an online series, but seeing the popularity and the comments, may not be in millions, but that doesn't matter. If I can change one child's life, one teacher's burden, I think I've done justice to the entire series. In the 7th episode, we spoke about eliminating disruption, and primarily we spoke about something called unclear expectations. When you are not conveying your message correctly, when you are not telling them the consequences of it, you're telling them to behave well, but you don't know what behavior means, those are unmet expectations, and that leads to indiscipline issues. In the 8th session today, we're going to talk about the climate of high achievement. Strange, isn't it? We're talking about discipline and we have not talked about reprimanding. The stick has not come enough. And I agree that we need to have a policy which will avoid the entire process of the stick. I'm not asking to use the candy floss, the marshmallows and the carrots here. What I'm trying to say is set the expectations clear and you will have a climate of high achievement. So there are 4 sub-points in this, and in this episode I'm going to talk about the first 2 of it. The first one says fun and simulation. You see, when you have a way to teach a child, fun, by the way, is a natural process where kids learn. It's also called curiosity. It's also called an innate ability to have, fool around. Give them a football and see what they do. Give them a stool. Give them some experiments. And that is what you're starting to do. Believe me, there are schools across the globe which are thirsty for somebody to explain to them what fun is. I always say the word fundamental, the first 3 letters are F-U-N. So even teaching the basics, the fundamental, fun is very, very important, and that's how you learn. Today, and it's raining very heavily out here in Mumbai, our kid had an international mud day. And believe me, the excitement, the energy, and these are preschoolers. And did we have discipline issues? I'm sure we didn't have. And we didn't have. I spoke to the teacher. That's the way you talk to them. You ignore the minor issues that you have. You share a good laugh. Oh, by the way, how many times do you see teachers frowning compared to those smiling? Look at your assemblies, and I always say assembly is the living vision of the school. How many times you talk about being quiet and being disciplined and punishments rather than elements of fun, points, celebration in the assembly? How many of you have clapped at least twice in a week in an assembly? And I find the ratios very, very poor. I love one of the proverbs which says smiling is a charity. And indeed it is. And don't be a miser, Uncle Scrooge, that you don't smile often to your kids. As the leader, as the principal, as the management, you are the one who established this smiling foundation. Oh, by the way, on a side point, the smiley face, the emoji that has become universal with the 2 tears into it, was actually nominated by Oxford as the word of the year 2015. Really, word of the year, and you are not smiling enough? Find situations of humor. Ordinary situations could be funny, and it's okay. Self-depreciating humor is fine. Talk about your weaknesses, talk about your problems, and then laugh it out with your kids. So that's the first step to create a climate of high achievement in your school. The second one that I want to discuss today is something more detailed, more deep, more serious, called the culture classes. You see, your school is an amalgam of different culture. Now you won't have countries, but international schools have different countries. I went to school with around 22 different nationalities. Irrespective, is a country, India, we have different region, languages, different dialects, different cuisines, different dress styles, different accents. And instead of being afraid of it, you celebrate it. You let your kids come and say, look, I would love to be part of a school which celebrates difference rather than hides it down. When the words are not there, when you're not teaching them the right vocabulary, many times fists are used in poverty because words are neither available or respected. And I think I just put a small tweetable quote for you. Please tweet at CEO Teacher. I've been telling people to tweet. So this is an assignment I'm giving you. Tweet to me, that is Dawood Waid at CEO Teacher. Many times fists are used in poverty because words are neither available nor respected. In a poverty or a vocabulary poor family, you see the problems, the tensions are higher. And a vocabulary rich family, this is always soothed because you have choice of words to convey your emotions. Otherwise you have no words, and this is a problem in a culture. We are not encouraging students to use words. One of my favorite book is How to Talk So Kids Listen and Listen So Kids Talk. It's a long title for a book, but the amazing thing about the book is you put clear guidelines. No using hands, no using fist, use words. Today in my school, I had two girls almost clash at each other, push each other on a football match. And that's the right place, I told them, both of you are getting yellow cards. The FIFA fever is on me. But the moment I said, tell me with your words. Oh, my girls fight like cats at home. But I tell them, words is what we use. And of course, the Boy's Own song is very beautiful. And words are all I have to take your heart away. That's what I'm talking about. Make a culture where words are spoken. Sometimes we as spouses in relationship, in schools, in staff rooms, we are not using the right words to convey our challenges, our frustration to our heads, and this leads to problem. So please have a culture where words are there. Oh, by the way, if you have not watched this beautiful movie called Hitchki, go ahead and watch it. Not because it was such beautifully portrayed by Rani Mukherjee having the Tourette syndrome. Oh, by the way, Tourette is a neurological disorder where you make loud noises on occasion. It's called tic. But the movie is so beautiful. It's not necessarily about one teacher's struggle with Tourette's, but also about the students and the struggle with the teacher. And that is what I like. Remember what I said? Fist will be used when words are not there. This is a movie as much about the RT and the poor implementation and what a teacher can do. So there are kids from slums and different background, and the teacher, in one of the very beautiful scene in the movie where the teacher, Rani Mukherjee in a case, goes to their slum to have a PTM and find that their parents standing in water line, they are selling fish, the students who are in garage painting a car or repairing a punctured tube, and that is when she realizes the methods of teaching were so difficult and so this is a culture you need to understand. As a teacher, you must know the challenges, the background. A child who has lost a parent is a difficult child for a different reason. A child who is living in a joint family, a child under pressure, a child from a poor background, all of these makes a difference. Again, for your information, I always love to give a lot of knowledge and information to my teachers so that you feel proud and equipped. This movie is actually an adaptation and borrowed from another movie called Front of the Class. This movie is about a real struggle with the Tourette syndrome, but amazing movie. And this movie is from a book, and I'm a book lover, you have known by 8th session now, called by the same name by Brad Cohen, who was having Tourette's and how he converted his Tourette into becoming a great teacher. So there you are. We are asking you a very simple thing that, do not let your hindrances, your challenges stay with you. Speak it out. Now this is very, very important. A very important element of having a climate of high achievement in a school is to have a way where nobody insults nobody. Students understand sarcasm and insult very well. What's a sarcasm? Sarcasm is when you tell something sarcastically, when you tell something without conveying you hurt the kid. And insult is insult, as you know. You say, oh, you dirty boy, it's an insult. Sarcasm, oh, did you not take bath today? The boy might have just fallen into a pool of mud and you made a sarcastic time. Or did your mommy not give you enough food? Believe me, I had a child who comes to me and the teacher said, put your finger on the lips. And I hate those kind of teachers. I hope you are not one of them. And the teacher says, what is your mother tongue? Do I need to say in your mother tongue? And the little boy, he's a grade 6 student, he didn't understand the sarcasm. He said, you know what, sir? He tells me, I thought he didn't understand. He says, I told the teacher my mother tongue is Malayalam and you are a Punjabi teacher. Whoa! The kid knew sarcasm. And you know what kids do when they are insults? The insults, number one, they laugh when they are punished. Most kids do. Boys do very much. They laugh. Only thing they are doing is they're camouflaging the embarrassment, the humiliation. They're laughing to save face, and kids do it very often. And you know there are tears behind it, and stupid teachers don't understand it, and we are not stupid teachers. Insults are never constructive and certainly not helpful. Do not insult your spouse, your husband or wife, your children, or your students in your classroom. You see, all these students' behavior I'm talking about are a result of racial, cultural, or socio-economic background. So one very important understanding of this is, please, as a parent, go ahead, and as a teacher, go ahead and make a small slam book where you talk about the background of a child. One of the best methods I learned from Eklavya School, Professor Sunil Handa School in Ahmedabad, was where he institutionalized the whole idea of home visits. A teacher makes a minimum of 1 or 2 home visits a year. Believe me, the relationship increase. This is where you understand where they're coming from. And then you understand that they're from different background. Oh, by the way, one of my favorite songs that the kids performed the other day was the song which says, "My name is Madhavi, I am from LP, and I speak Malayalam, but I'm just like you." Oh, I think there's so many I can recall. "My name is Arundhati, I am from Guwahati. There is Vasundhara from Baroda, and Shamshir from Ajmer, and Shubrata from Kolkata. I'm just like you." The kids are just like us. Only you need to make an effort and find them. One of my favorite book, and I just finished reading it, is a Daniel Coel's book called The Culture Code. You don't have to read the book. I'm telling you what the book is about. The book says, share your vulnerability. Share your weaknesses, and it will make a great culture. Tell them, I don't know everything. Tell a parent. Make them understand. Tell the principal. The principal should tell the teachers. And that is the relationship. Number 2, share areas of safety. You make people feel safe in your presence. Don't threaten them. Don't make them feel embarrassed or humiliated. The moment you do that, you're creating a beautiful culture in your organization. It could be corporate, it could be an NGO, it could be a religious institution, and efficiently it would definitely be a school. Right. So now what do? My kids are behaving improperly and I still have a serious issue. Where is the discipline? So I'll give you 2 techniques before I close. Number 1 technique is write down the behavior. No, it's something like the corporate bingo. When somebody says one rubbish word very often, roadmap, vision, roadmap, and we play a game where you say we mark it down how many times a person says that. Do the same thing with a kid. You play a class bingo. When a child behaves, impulsively, he behaves bad. Anger, he teases, he's bullying, he's swearing, he's shouting. So you make a chart, you say 1. In Roman numbers, you say 1, 1, 1. And after 4, you make a line that's 5. And you tell a child, I'm making a note of it. Not a public display. You can do that if a class is unruly. But you tell them, if you have less of these, we will have celebration time. It could be an extra hour. You don't have to only give tangible gifts. It could be no English hour or a maths hour or a regional language hour. It could be an extra sports hour. It could be a longer lunch hour. But say that collectively I need this time. So you make a note. And what happens is the child gets curious when you make a note. And suddenly the child will say, what are you writing? You're not asking questions. You're not raising your voice. And suddenly the tantrums would drop. And I've seen that cases, I've seen it, and I can assure you this technique works very well. So next time a child is angry or he's bullying somebody, you call the child and say, look, I'm making a note. End of the story. It's very much like the FIFA. The referee calls the player and says, here is your yellow card. Number 1, warning. Number 2, 2 yellows, out of the game. And you choose what they have. Final example is, you tape the letter to the desk. What happens is, for any kind of kid this works, you write a letter to the parent, a father or a mother, and you write the complaints that you want to have. And you give this letter and you say, look, I am taping the letter under your desk. If you behave well, you can take the letter and tear it yourself. If not, the school will deliver the letter home. So there you are. You're not giving them the choice. And believe me, 9 out of 10 cases, the student will be happy and tempted to tear the letter by behaving well. Now try these techniques. I hope this helps you. This little snippets of information on discipline, and I really believe there is a culture we can create in school that makes the school have a great discipline hour. You can always email your suggestions, criticisms, feedback to dawood@skyeducation.in, and I asked you to tweet. I hope you tweeted so far. Thank you so much and enjoy your school hour. Bye bye.